The streets. We said that Zach had the best bar.
Yeah, we did.
We did. You do, Zach. Just I know you've been in the reps.
I look good walking in slow motion.
Does everyone look good?
You look good in shade, Zach.
You look great,
in shades
Zach.
especially.
We've already commented on the Zach glow up. Let's get to the game of the night last night. It was in Brooklyn. Luka Doncic and the Mavs, they were taking on the Nets. Let's head to Barclays Center, Chiney Ogwumike.
Look, this was a point guard matchup that made everyone happy if you love these guys because Kyrie was in his bag. I mean, look at the handles, tween, cross tween, taking the contact. He's so gifted. Finishing in the paint for his size at 6'3". I'm taller than him, y'all, which is, I mean, I'm 6'2", well, 6'3"-ish in heels, so you know how that goes. But look at this no-look pass. Luka magic, that's exactly that. Draws the defense. Eyes on the back of his head.
Pass of the night.
You have to be ready.
Pass of the
Honestly,
season
I was
so far.
surprised, Max. I was surprised he caught it and finished it because that was so unpredictable. And I would say, yes, that is absolutely the pass of the season so far.
But it was Kyrie Irving and him just trading buckets all night long.
I don't know how he does it. It's like a maze, and he still finds a way to the rim. His best handle in the NBA that we've seen.
Absolutely.
And KD had something to say. I mean, you look at like what Brooklyn was able to do from their two stars. They've been showing up. It's been really disappointing to see 37-plus nights, and they still, well, let me not spoil this because look at this from deep.
That's beautiful.
And you can just tell they wanted to win.
Yes.
There was fight on both ends, but guess what? At the end of the day, Luka did his thing.
Once again, drives, finishes off the glass there. Luka was everywhere last night. Final seconds here. Luka, turnover. Ben Simmons gets the steal there, passes it out, dishes it to Kevin Durant, who finishes with authority.
What? I was a little surprised.
Ian Eagles' call was immaculate.
Oh, it was beautiful.
By the way.
So
we head to overtime in this one, and that's when the Mavs just took over today.
Look, they had 23s on the night. Luka was scoring, and then they were knocking it down. I feel like it's impossible to beat the Mavs when they're in that situation. Look at that pass, too. Reggie Bullock for three.
Absolutely beautiful. The Mavs go on to win this one 129-125. It was a fun game. And Luka has now scored or assisted on 238 points this season. Only Russell Westbrook during his MVP season and James Harden that same year have had more through 4 games in the last 25 seasons. And that's after Luka had a hand in 80 points last night. So Tim Legler, I know we were texting last night. The Nets, they didn't really play poorly. This was just more about what Luka Doncic did right. What part of his game jumped out to you the most?
Yeah, look, we showed the dime of the night, but these are the 3 really that closed the deal late. And this is why I'm calling him the best offensive all-around player in the NBA, because there's no answer for the guy. You play him with one person, he gets the shot he wants. You play him with 2, this is what happens to you. Now just take a look late, 3-point game, 3:45 to go. This is game-winning time. And take a look at these passes and why this is so magical, what he does. He comes off this ball screen, stop right there. Now, take a look at what he has done. First of all, he's taken 2 guys with him like he should. But here's what I really want you to focus on. Look at the eyes of the defenders. Obviously, the 2 guys at the point of attack, but look at all the weak side guys. Everyone is watching Luka. You know what the problem with that is? The basketball is right here. It's already come out of his hand. No one sees it yet because he's gone behind his back, and it gets there so much quicker to the shooter. There's no chance to recover to this. Toe it up, hits him right in the cradle, step into it, big one right there, go up 6. Does it again here. Get a little ISO. All right, you want to run 2 at me? Same thing. By the time that ball hits the hand of the shooter, you've already got 2 defenders on this side of the floor, and there is no way for Kyrie Irving to react on the weak side because you don't take the time to pick it up and throw a normal pass. Going behind the back with that kind of velocity gives the shooter an extra half a count. And then finally, there's this one. He's reading this action right here. You got a screen coming right here, and you got to read it. So the defender gets on the high side. That's going to dictate a back cut. And look what he's looking at on the weak side of the floor. Take a look at Kyrie Irving. Right, he is chest to chest for some reason. He's not on the edge of the lane. He's over here, that far from the ball. So that means Luka is going to, again, put this thing with velocity, a perfect lead pass from the sideline out of bounds with 4 seconds to go. Luka Doncic, LeBron James might be the only 2 guys in the league capable of making that exact pass. But this is why this guy is so special. You want to run an extra guy at me? Fine. I will pick you apart with my passing.
It feels like when Luka is playing like that, there's just no hope for anybody else. And like I said, this wasn't about the Nets, but the Nets, KD and Kyrie, they became the second pair of teammates to each score 100-plus points over the same 3-game span in which their team lost every game. The other duo was Kiki Vandeweghe and Alex English for the Nuggets. Here's Durant and Kyrie after the game.
Kevin, what do you think you guys need to clean up most right now just to get back on track?
It's everything, you know.
You look at your whole team and look at all your schemes and just try to fine-tune it all.
All we can do is put one foot in front of the other, one day in front of the other. And teaching takes time, and me and Kev, we've become teachers just playing in this league now. And we're looked upon as that. And it's not just us, it's the veterans around the league, but specifically the veterans on this team. We take our responsibility serious because this is our profession. And winning is the business.
I want to bring Zach Lowe back into this discussion because the Nets, they've dropped to 1-4. And ultimately, we know 5 games is just a drop in the bucket. But how are you assessing what you've seen from them through these first 5 games?
It's been a tough schedule, so you have to say that. The schedule gets easier now, and they better start winning. But what's worrisome is that they've struggled in exactly the ways that if you were low on the Nets, you would expect them to struggle. They're last in defense and 29th in defensive rebounding. I don't care how much firepower you have on offense. You cannot win with those kind of numbers. Look, they'll be better than last defensively. Opponents are hitting everything from 3. That's going to drop off a little bit. The size thing is more troubling. And last night, they stopped playing Simmons and Claxton together because they just realized we can't have 2 non-shooters on the floor. It's not working. And that's going to compromise their defense. And that brings you back to the second issue, which is that Ben Simmons has 28 points and 4 free throws in 5 games. And look, he needs time. We need to be patient. That's all true. This Nets team only works if this is a big 3. And right now it's not a big 3. And until it becomes one, they're a second-tier playoff team in the East, and that's just the end of it.
Yeah, I think that this was a reminder that the league is in a very healthy place. Typically, when you have Kyrie and KD go for 76-plus points the last few games, you would say, oh, that's an automatic win for their team. In the same way you could talk about AD and LeBron and the Lakers going for 30-plus, and that's an automatic win. No, the league is in a very healthy place, especially with what we've seen with Luka and what we've seen with Ja. But when it comes specifically to the Nets, you look at them. Everyone has been talking about how they're poor defensively and their rebounding is bad. You see them trying to understand that, like they're trying to protect the paint now, even though they don't have the size. But what does that mean? That means now teams are having field days. 3rd worst in the league at defending the 3. Opponents are shooting 42% from 3. The Mavs had 20 out of 40 from 3. You can't be bad at both, but you see the competitive fire there. You see the want to win there. They're going to overtime. They're trying to address some things, but they still are limited schematically. And until you address those ways to defend better, you won't be able to even compete no matter how much firepower you have.
Lex?
Yeah, look, I think we've beaten up Ben Simmons enough over his offensive issues, right? But here's the thing. At least you would think you'd be getting more defensive prowess out of him. Look what's happened with Ja Morant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and again last night with Luka. These guys are doing whatever they want. So you're sacrificing a lot offensively, and right now you're not getting the defensive benefit from Simmons because they're not a good defensive team.
Yeah.
Right? He can do his thing individually still because he's big and physical and quick. Their principles aren't there. And what really is scary, their best 2 players scored 150 points against Memphis and Dallas, and they still lost. And I think that's why Kevin Durant jetted off the court last night at the final buzzer. I mean, he sprinted basically underneath the basket, got in the tunnel. Practically at the same time the final horn sounded. He was obviously irritated. I think it's why. He's playing great. Kyrie's playing great. They're still losing games. That starts to get scary.
And I like this idea, Legs. Let's chat a little bit about Ben Simmons defensively because I always try to reset things. When he was with the Sixers, he was a perimeter defender. Here, he's one of the bigger guys at 6'10", asked to really rebound and defend centers in this league. And you see so many players that have their way, like you mentioned, a Zion Williamson or Giannis Antetokounmpo, or even in a situation where the Mavs don't necessarily have a traditional go-to force in the paint type of big, but still now, okay, the NBA is so versatile, they'll make 3s.
Right.
What do you think about Ben Simmons switching over to, because that's where I give him some grace. It's not easy to go from the perimeter to the center and adapt.
Very difficult. And you saw him playing Giannis. Like, he's not used to having to guard guys that can bang 3 dribbles in the post and drop step you. He didn't know what to do with him. And Luka kind of plays that way. He's so wide and physical and strong, and he sets you up. Once he gets you into the paint on his hip, you're at his mercy. He's going to get what he wants. So I think all of this is affecting Ben Simmons' confidence, I'm sure, because he's also not having the impact on that end. You know, if he's really locking guys down,